Good morning and happy Friday, TGIF. Woo, it is springtime in Oklahoma. My goodness. Thunder boomers all night. The garden got a good shower. That is good for me. Wasn't good for OJ. He slept under the bed and then he would come out a little bit and scratch the side of the bed. And when he scratches at something, that is supposed to be my cue to get my ass up and get him a snack or a chicken nugget or whatever he wants. But I didn't feel like getting up last night, so he's super pissed at me. Today we are talking about a case that we have never talked about before. This just happened last Saturday, April 20th. And I have read a lot of the comments on this. There is a sect of people that seem to have a lot of empathy for Marcella. Hang on, Busy Mom said, Brooks, my allergies are kicking my butt. I'm telling you, girlfriend, I know what you're talking about. Mold, pollen, the whole 9 yards. So this is Marie Chittister. I'm probably mispronouncing everything except for Marie. Last Saturday, April 20th, she went to a local tavern in Monroe County, Michigan. Gorgeous community, by the way. And she has a gorgeous house. She had a glass of wine and a bowl of chili. They say 4 hours later, she was driving over to the club. But she crashed into it. It's called the Swan Boat Club in Berlin Township. She crashed into it. Not only did she crash into it, she killed 2 little kids. Their mama and their older brother are in critical condition. There's a 57-year-old in the hospital. A 14-year-old named Eddie in the hospital. Leah, 18 years old, in the hospital. Also injured, a 16-year-old female, 70-year-old female, 66-year-old female, 62-year-old female, and 42-year-old male. Some people were driving themselves to the hospital. According to her attorney, this is not what happened. He is saying she had a seizure and couldn't control the wheel. He says she is on seizure medication. She's also being given that medication in jail. Well, so be it. So be it. Either or, this is her fault. You can't ignore that her blood alcohol content was over the legal limit. And let's just play along with Attorney Man. Let's just play along. Let's say she has a seizure disorder. She had no business behind the wheel. She had no business behind the wheel. She was twice the legal limit. He said 4 hours earlier, she had a glass of wine and a bowl of chili. Well, what the hell happened in that 4 hours? Did she go back home? Have her a few more rip snorters? Then get in her SUV? After she was told by the establishment that they were having a birthday party and she can't go. See, she's a very, very entitled person. Okay, she might be the local drunk. She could be the worst of the worst. I'm going to talk about a couple of the medications she was on. We're all mad here, member for 11 months. I'm sorry, Brooks. For what, girlfriend? You know things around here get heated. We love you, girlfriend. I am not going to delve into the world of alcoholism or anything like that. I will say, yes, we know it's a disease, but it's not a disease. If you have cancer, your cancer is not going to kill anyone else. Okay? It's not. Drink at home. Now, I have worked for several doctors' offices over the years, and anytime someone had I'm just going to say seizure problem, we had a certain form, we printed out, and we got right to the DMV. As you know, they don't take your keys and they don't take your car. Your driver's license might be ineffective, but it's still just a piece of plastic. So if somebody wants to drive, they can drive. The medications she were on, and I guess she's still on them in jail. I got this from CBS Detroit. Gabapentin. I take that for restless leg syndrome. So I don't know what the hell she was taking that for. Valproate, which actually is an anti-seizure medication from what I'm looking at on Dr. Google, and Librium. Librium should never, I can't speak about the other medications. Librium, they give to people when they have made the decision to quit drinking so they don't have a seizure. Supposedly, she did have a seizure. And I have to have gabapentin to sleep. It doesn't put me to sleep. You can drive with gabapentin. Valproate, you shouldn't. You can drive with Librium. Okay, hang on. We need Angel P in here. She says gabapentin is a seizure medication. I take it for neuropathy, though. Okay, so do I, for my legs. Here's the thing. Whether this is a seizure problem or she was just half in the bag or 3 sheets to the wind, this is all her fault. I have watched the video several times, and the way she turned in to the establishment while they were having the birthday party, they did not want her in there drinking, making a mess. You know, she's a sloppy drunk, from what I'm understanding. She's not the person that can sip her wine and eat her chili without making a ruckus. Again, here is Marcella. Here she is in better days. She looks totally different. This is her and her husband. He bailed her out of jail yesterday. Yes, she is bonded out right now. She was what's called the Commodore of this establishment. The Swan Boat Club. Now, there are lawsuits flying around. Medical bills and funerals will be taken care of, okay? These families need to heal 100%. So they are suing the first establishment that Marcella went to. I think it is called, hang on, Verna's Tavern. Yeah, Verna's Tavern. And of course, they're suing Marcella. She obviously drove into the building. So her auto insurance is going to have to pay out the gills for all that. But don't be surprised. Please do not be surprised if they don't also wind up suing the Swan Boat Club. And I know people will say, why would they do that? She ran into the building. Why would they do that? Because let me tell you something. When you are serving the public, you have to do everything you can to keep them safe. That means in your parking lot, it can't just be a bunch of gravel where if someone loses control, whether it's from rain, from hydroplaning, snow, ice, whatever, you're supposed to have certain things in front of your establishment to stop a car from coming in it. So don't be surprised if they don't get sued. Let's look at the video. We're going to go through it a couple of times. You tell me if you think this is deliberate or not. Yes, Halo, they need concrete barriers. Hell, even at my local Goodwill, they have cement concrete posts up that are painted yellow. You can't miss them. You can't miss them. So you don't drive into the thrift store. All right, look at this video with me. We're going to watch it a couple of times. You tell me, do you believe this was deliberate? Do you think she was that pissed off because they said, you're not coming here to get sloshed today, Marcella. We're having a birthday party. Do you think she really, when she left Verna's Tavern, when she had her wine and chili, I don't know what she did for 4 hours, but we know for a fact she drove right into this bar.
New video shows the harrowing moments before a car crashed into a Michigan party, killing 2 kids. You can see a blue SUV speeding down a dirt road near Newport, Michigan, that's south of Detroit. Surveillance video shows the blue car slamming right into the side of a boat club. An 8-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy, siblings, killed here. 15 others were hurt. Officials say the car...
I need to find a better video. Give me a second. I put the wrong one up. I don't want to trigger anybody by seeing her actually, barrel into it. But it's important to see it. I'm sure Inside Edition or Daily Mail, one of them has it. Give me a second. And here's the family. Look at this. This is Mariah Dodds with her 3 babies. She was taken off of a ventilator a few days ago and told that 2 of her babies are gone. She's in serious condition, and so is her son, amongst others. Look at all the people that were injured. It's absolutely crazy. I won't get a lot of gold stars for this. All I'm going to say is that whether or not this is about just being a washed up drunk or she truly had a seizure condition, she should have never been behind the wheel. And if she was already drunk when she got to Verna's Tavern and they served her the chili and the wine, they might be culpable. If the Swan Bar, the boat club, didn't have concrete barriers outside to where Not because someone's driving around drunk, just for anything else. Brakes don't work. You go into reverse, you can't stop. Transmissions, ice, snow, whatever. Cars are powerful. You've got to have something to where you can protect the people inside of your establishment. And they will wind up getting sued.
This woman is accused of getting behind the wheel drunk and crashing into a birthday party, leading to the death of 2 young siblings. Today at her arraignment, she faced murder charges while the victim's aunt tearfully addressed the court.
She is the anguished aunt of 2 adorable kids who were killed while attending a birthday party by an alleged drunk driver.
I will never look at the month of April the same ever again.
8-year-old Alana Phillips and her 4-year-old brother Zane were killed instantly when the speeding car zoomed right into the birthday party venue where their family had gathered. Their mother and a surviving sibling are still...
Okay, watch it again. This is high speed. This is straight in. When we get into a parking lot, my friends, we slow down and we look for a place to park. If they want to prove she truly had a seizure, then she's going to have a CAT scan or an MRI done ASAP.
4-year-old brother Zane were killed instantly when the speeding car zoomed right into the birthday party venue where their family had gathered.
Just that noise makes me sick. Is it a blood alcohol content twice the legal limit plus? Or did she truly just have a seizure? I've never had a seizure behind the wheel. These 2 little babies were killed instantly. They were killed instantly. They have an older brother with a punctured lung. Just Me said, well, she missed the telephone pole. So you're telling me that her seizure made it where she couldn't take her foot off the gas and her hands off the wheel? I don't know enough about seizures to say. Let's bring up our friend Retro Girl. She has a lot to say about this case. Please, big round of applause for our great friend Retro Girl. Good morning, Retro Girl. I'm so glad you're here.
Good morning. I'm going to have to mute when I'm not talking because I can't find my headphones.
You sound perfect to me. I mean, am I echoing too much?
If I echo, people will have to let me know.
You're good as grease gravy in my book. Sarah,
Okay.
your body stiffens during a seizure, so in my case, it did. Bonafide said, my brother-in-law had a seizure driving and doesn't remember the accident at all. And I 100% get that. If she had already, and I feel very bad for what has happened to Sarah and to Bonafide's brother-in-law, she supposedly was being treated with gabapentin, valproate, and Librium. Librium is famous for treating people that are detoxing for alcohol. Okay? Makes me almost wonder if her husband didn't just say, you're getting off the sauce. Deborah Wallace said, look up seizures. She wasn't having full seizures. Her attorney said she had leg seizures. So she could have turned away from the building.
I wonder why she missed. I have to wonder why she missed the telephone pole, other vehicles on the road, and everything else that could have been in her way, or that she would have had to drive around on her trip, the 400 feet or so between her home and the building. I'm wondering how she missed every other obstacle in the way and managed to hit the side of the building. I asked myself that question.
There was parked cars on the, like you said, 400 feet from her house to the boat club. She didn't hit any of those cars, but she starts full speed when she gets into this parking lot. Now we see a tree here on the screen. We see a telephone pole. We see, it looks like a utility shed in the front with another utility pole. How come she didn't hit that? That would have broke her speed and she wouldn't have gone in. Let's look at it again. And I know it's hard to watch. Trigger warning.
Instantly, when the speeding car zoomed right into the birthday party venue where their family had gathered.
Okay, let's look at the utility pole right next to it. Okay, I'm going to slow this down. This is important. Playback speed. I do it like this. Okay, boy, this is going to be crazy, but here we go.
Into the birthday party venue where their family had gathered.
She missed that pole right there. And
exactly.
As you can see, she veers a little bit to the right. That's the reason I slowed it down. So she would miss that pole and go right into the building. Well, that tells me a lot. Let's talk about the conversation she had. Mind you, she lives 400 feet away. It's a nice day. She could have walked over. But she had already been told, we're having a birthday party. There's a lot of kids here. We don't want your sloshed ass here, causing all kinds of problems while we're having a birthday party. Fair enough, don't you think?
Absolutely.
But since she was at one time the Commodore of the club, it seems to me that she wasn't going to take no for an answer. She tried leaving the scene, so her seizure just stopped.
She had to follow the shape of the road going from her home to the side of that building. Makes no sense. Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's telling to me is I can't hear the brakes.
Mm-mm.
You can't hear any sound of braking, and she apparently went 25 feet, according to the sheriff's conference. She went 25 feet into past the side of the building. So 25 feet into the building.
Mm-hmm. I think she was drunk pissed. No one's going to tell her she can't go to her club. No one's going to tell her she can't go. Now, she supposedly was having leg seizures, which is why we supposedly don't see brake lights. What I want to know is they're going to find other traffic cameras. It's a nice area. It seems to me that when she turns in to the parking lot, she actually speeds up. Why the hell from 400 feet do you have to go that fast? She sped up.
Yeah, it looks like she accelerated into the building. In my judgment of the Associated Press has probably the best video of the best replication of the Ring camera video on YouTube, but it looked to me watching that like she actually sped up going into the building.
It looks that way. We're going to watch it one more time at full speed.
When the speeding car zoomed right into the birthday party venue where their family had gathered. Their mother and a survivor.
And this Paul guy that has his on his Ring camera, she lives like right behind him. She just had to go around the block to get there.
Surviving sibling are still fighting for their lives.
I had to see my deceased niece and nephew. I had to see their very last moment. I had to be the one to tell my sister her babies were gone when they removed her ventilator yesterday.
The accused drunk driver, 66-year-old Marcella Chittister, appeared in court today, bruised and battered. Surveillance video shows her car speeding.
Boo-hoo! I don't care that she's bruised and battered. Let me tell you something. You could say I have leg seizures because I have restless leg syndrome. So every now and then I have to take a gabapentin. Every now and then. Bruised and battered, drunks always survive the wreck.
They sure do. They sure do. There were 15 victims, 15 people who needed medical attention. Two people were life flighted.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, Alana and Zane, didn't make it. 8-year-old,
they died.
8-year-old girl, a 5-year-old boy. It was a 5-year-old boy's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you can see there are other people who are having expensive recoveries from this accident.
Mm-hmm. Many. And Alana and Zane, they died at the scene. That doesn't mean that the other people that are critically injured are going to make it. So I hate to tell old girl, she's going to serve jail time. Hey, she's out right now. She's out now.
Yeah, her attorney was trying to get a $100,000 bond, which she'd only have to post $10,000 to bond out, and he was arguing for that in the hearing, and which was crazy. So with a $1.5 million bond, it's 110%. She only had to post 10% of that, so that's like $105,000.
Yeah, and her husband just put the house up for collateral, and it's a gorgeous house. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
It's not a cash bail where they had to come up with 1.5 million. It's a bond, so it's 10%. And 2 children have lost their lives. This is not just going to go away. Now, supposedly she has an ankle monitor on where she can't leave the house. Okay. She also has a monitor on. How it's used, I don't know, to detect if she is drinking alcohol. I am shocked as shit that since she got home yesterday, that thing wasn't buzzing like a new Christmas tree.
I would be very surprised. I'm very surprised. Her attorney called it an alcohol tether. I have no idea how that works.
Mm-hmm. The hell is an alcohol tether?
Her attorney called it an alcohol tether. I wish I would have gotten into reading a bit onto how that works. Maybe there's somebody in chat who knows how that works, if they have to blow into a gadget every hour or so to keep it active. That's just a wild guess.
And I can just imagine her and Ned Flanders at the house when she's dying for a drink. Ned Flanders is at the fence trying to explain her seizure disorder. Because I have a feeling she's quite the barrel of monkeys. I have a feeling she gives him a lot of hell. He didn't even go drop her off. Oh, hang on. Stephanie Murray Stephanie Murray said it detects alcohol through the sweat and body oil. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Well, shit. That would get a lot of us in trouble, but that's okay.
Well, that makes sense because I think we're all familiar with the smell, how people who've been drinking heavily will start eliminating alcohol through their sweat to the point where you can smell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some do and some don't, but if that's how it detects it, that's how it detects it.
For the boat club, where the afternoon birthday party was held last Saturday in Berlin, Michigan. A gaping hole was left in the side of the boat club.
Some of the people there described it as they thought someone had planted a bomb, and a bomb had actually gone off because this vehicle had driven and literally through a wall.
We were supposed to be planning a birthday party for Zane, not a funeral.
The suspect's attorney says she only had one glass of wine 4 hours before the crash, adding that she suffers from epileptic-like seizures in her legs.
Epileptic-like seizures in her legs. Good try. I'll give you an E for effort. It's not going to work. Let's listen to some people from the community, because this community is up in arms that this has happened to one of their own, or several of their own.
Just couldn't believe it, it's just, we still can't believe it.
At around 3 p.m. on Saturday, tragedy struck at the Swan Boat Club in Berlin Township.
We have a black escape that went through the building. At least 5 people are injured on the ground. It was a children's birthday party. Several small children are injured as well.
Could you just imagine getting that dispatch? They're having a birthday party. Birthday parties are either for people turning 80, 90, 100, or they're for children. Okay.
It was the birthday of the 5-year-old, the 5-year-old boy whose birthday party it was one of the 2 children who was killed in the crash.
That I did not know. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, his aunt is the one who speaks up at that press conference, and she said, we were wanting to plan a birthday party for Zane, not a funeral.
I thought she meant that his birthday was coming up. I didn't see that's. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure it was he was the person having the birthday.
Oh my gosh.
According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, a 66-year-old woman was intoxicated and she crashed her SUV into the side of the building. At least 15 people were injured. 2 kids died, an 8-year-old girl and her 5-year-old brother.
Everybody's sad, my wife is crying. I just feel sorry for you, and in our prayers.
Ed Wendersky lives down the street from the boat club. He says his son's pickup truck was hit on Saturday. He believes it was by the same driver who crashed.
This is extremely interesting to me because his son's car was out on the street. He believes she hit it. Wouldn't that kind of wake her up? If she truly hit the car. Let's look at it again. He believes it's her that hit it. There wasn't anything wrong with his son's truck before. Wouldn't that wake her up? But she had a mission. She was going to go over there and she was going to show them. By God, I'm the commodore of this club. When I say I'm coming in there to have a drink, you better let me in.
Son's pickup truck was hit on Saturday. He believes it was by the same driver who crashed into the boat club.
I don't know if you can see the tire tracks. His, front tire, his back tire was probably about here, and then we paced it off. We think that it got pushed back about 12 feet.
I also spoke with another neighbor who was out with his young daughter as she was riding her bike. He had this message for the victim's family.
Absolutely heartbreaking, and it's just a terrible.
Could you imagine if his little girl was outside riding her bike that day? And there's Marcella on a mission to wreak havoc. And if she was fleeing from hitting the neighbor's truck, then why go to the bar of all places?
Terrible tragedy, and we are very, very sorry for your losses, and you're in our thoughts and prayers.
The two siblings who were killed in the crash were students of Flat Rock Community Schools. The district sent out a letter regarding the situation. Here's a little of what it said. Words cannot adequately express the depth of our sorrow, nor can they ease the pain of those who are grieving. When our students return to school on Monday, our counselors and social workers will be on hand to provide support and assistance to any families who may need it.
That's what happens when someone senselessly, whether this was deliberate or not. Now, I will say, Marcella, at this time, has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and other counts of injury. An OWI, that's a new one to me. Second degree shows no intent. I have a feeling once the insurance companies get involved and they start microscoping that video and they speak to the owner of the boat club, they're going to go ahead and throw some intent in there. Welcome to the family, Lori. I have missed you. Jules is pissed that she is out. Well, I think that they thought that they had made the bond high enough that she couldn't get out, but she's out. What do you think about that, Retro Girl?
Well, for $1.5 million bond, it's all of $105,000, I believe, that they have to post if it's a surety.
Her husband did a surety for $150,000 against their home.
Would it be 100? Yeah. I would think it would be just a little bit over $100,000 for 10% of 1.5 million.
Oh yeah, it's just the bond. It's 10%, and he used the house as surety. He's saying she's not going to go anywhere, which he doesn't really have a choice for that. Now, my thing is, I think we all know we're more charming when we're drinking. How the hell are you going to have a seizure when you're drinking? The juices are flowing. You've got some sort of intoxication going on. You know, whether you are buzzed, intoxicated, or fallen down drunk. And this is a fall down drunk woman, okay? She would go outside to have a cigarette, and they would have to pick her ass up and get her home. People on each side of her helping her get back home. I don't blame them for saying, don't come over during the birthday party. I wouldn't have let her back on the property. Thank you, Petty Kitty, for being a member for 2 months. And look at Pat K making it rain. My goodness, I got to play the music, my friends. My goodness, do we not just have the best community here, Retro Girl?
That's wonderful. That's great.
Well, I know a few people are upset that lawsuits are coming out, but it was bound to happen. Of course it is. You know, in the SUV, there's something called car insurance, and they will sue for exceeded limits. It's going to drain that policy and then some. I was talking to Retro Girl yesterday. I said, how often do you file a claim on your insurance? I don't think I have filed one since I had to replace a windshield back in 2016. Safe Light came out, put a new windshield on, done, solved. But I'm still paying, well, DT driver is still paying that insurance claim, that insurance deductible every month. The bill every month. That's paying for other people.
Our car insurance is for it's not for the safe drivers. Reckless drivers, drunk drivers, we all pay for, the rest of us pay for that.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't have to worry about paying for safe drivers, because what they do is, well, they don't drive drunk, and they normally don't file claims because they don't want their insurance to go up. They don't want it to go up. But either way, she was insured. I believe it was through, I've got to look again. I think she was through Allstate. Doesn't matter either way. And so they're going to have to pay all this. They're going to have to repair the bar. They're going to have to pay for medical bills. It's called excess limits. She'll never get car insurance again. But remember, car insurance is a piece of paper. A driver's license is a piece of plastic. So people that want to get from A to B don't really care. They'll just say, we'll just have to be a little more careful. They're suing the bar that gave her the glass of wine. I don't really know if that's going to go anywhere, because it's really hard to prove that you knew somebody was visibly intoxicated. Because if her bill is truly a glass of wine and a bowl of chili, which was she just really wanting to get the shits? Who the hell is going to have a glass of wine and a bowl of chili? That didn't even sound good.
Well, one of the boat club members who spoke up at her arraignment made reference to the fact that, or the infamy that she has for drinking in her vehicle, carrying alcohol, carrying a tumbler of whatever her choice of drink is in her vehicle with her.
Mm-hmm. It's like I always have my Kansas City Chiefs cup with me. It's either got lemon water in it, coffee, or tea. Her tumbler, it was a Michigan Wolverines tumbler she took everywhere with her. It kind of reminds me of the teacher.
I was thinking about the same thing. That's the same thing I was thinking about. She had it seemed like it was either steel tumbler or plastic. That was just something that one would expect a person to carry their water in, or tea or coffee. Mm-hmm. And it was her that had her wine in it. That's what it reminded me of.
That's what I thought too. And I started thinking about it, when I do my thinking at night. And I remember the teacher, Robin Brown, said, "Oh my God, I thought of the Oklahoma teacher." That she said, "Oh, that's my juice cup." And they could clearly smell wine in it. Criminal Med said, when you pick up your meds, they clearly say no alcohol. Well, they also say if you don't have a driver's license, don't drive. But people still do it. They also say don't drive drunk. People still do it. So even when you pick up medication, it says don't mix with alcohol. They never suggest it's a good idea to do it. People still do it. It's crazy to say. Criminals do not follow rules.
The family of the two children killed in Saturday's deadly birthday party crash have now filed a civil suit. In it includes the suspect, 66-year-old Marcella Chittister, and the tavern she was allegedly drinking at before the incident. That means Chittister could be facing two trials at once. Michael Sandlin has more.
The hole in the side of Swan Boat Club might be repaired, but the damage done to the family of Zane and Alana Phillips, the two children that were killed here last Saturday, still remains. Now civil attorney John Marco says.
Okay, Zane and Alana, their last name is Phillips. Has anybody heard, and I'm not going to delve into this, I'm not going to bother the man, where is their daddy?
Their parents, I believe their parents are separated, and their father is, I believe, at the hospital with the oldest child, who's in critical condition as well.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
And their mother, at the arraignment, I think the mother, their paternal grandmother of those two children spoke out at the arraignment. They did something very unusual at the arraignment. They allowed members of the community to speak out at this woman's arraignment, which is apparently, heard some commentators say that it's apparently quite unusual for at an arraignment for the families, the victims, to be allowed to speak. But at this arraignment, the judge allowed it. And it was heart-wrenching and powerful to listen to. There was the grandmother, and then of course the one you saw in Inside Edition that you played is the aunt of the two children who lost their lives. The grandmother spoke up on Zoom at the arraignment, and then a member of the boat club did it as well, who spoke about her drinking behavior. And then I think there was another member, I don't know, I've watched it about twice, but there was, I think, another member of the boat club who spoke out about Marcella's husband perhaps being at the boat club.
Well, we're going to go through the arraignment here in a minute. I didn't mean to speed ahead, but it's very important to go through it. But yes, in my opinion, my uneducated opinion, is that they allowed family members to speak in order to have the defense attorney lean back and see their pain. Not that it's going to affect him because he's doing his job, and hopefully influence the judge to keep her in jail, which he gave her, I mean, $1.5 million bond, but her husband has enough property to secure 10% of that. That's the reason I think they did that.
As he's trying to bring justice to a family still sick with grief.
They're not doing good.
Marco says the family reached out to him after the mother of the victims, Mariah Dobbs, woke up from the hospital asking what happened to her children, only to receive the unimaginable news that 2 of the 3 didn't make it. Now, Marco says they seek justice, working alongside the criminal prosecutor to build a strong case against Chidester through their own investigation, voice evidence, and witness testimony. And Marco says the defense's early claims that the crash was a result of Chidester having seizures in her legs is flimsy.
If you have a condition that makes it unsafe for you to be able to operate a motor vehicle, then you shouldn't be on the road. And you certainly, if you have a medical condition, shouldn't be drinking alcohol while getting behind the wheel on top of that medical condition. So that doesn't sound like a very good excuse to me.
And that's where it is, my friends. If she truly has this medical condition, she shouldn't be drinking. You know, and what is this? 1 glass of wine and a bowl of chili? Okay, Sarah Boone, were you also doing arts and crafts?
I would have to guess no, if I had to guess.
Yeah. If you're taking, I can't speak about gabapentin, but if you're taking valproate and Librium, it clearly says, everything I've read on Dr. Google, that it actually inebriates you faster if you mix it with alcohol. She didn't even have to call a cab. She didn't have to call an Uber. She could have walked her ass over there. What got her so stirred up? Because I do believe she hit that other neighbor's car. And I thank God that that man did not have his little girl out there riding her little bicycle. Because she would have mowed her over too. And the way she turns into the parking lot.
Another thought that I've had, if the seizures affected her legs but not the upper part of her body, why is there not any sort of jerking of the steering wheel to avoid the side of that building? Like jerking of the steering wheel to avoid the building and maybe hitting a bunch of other cars. Why does she go right into the building? Why? There's no attempt to not hit the building that I see. Even if her legs were frozen up, why did she not swerve away from the building with the steering wheel?
She could use her legs. I mean, she could use her arms. Sorry. So let's just say that both of her legs seized up. She still had control of her arms. And I think it's safe to say that Ned Flanders here wasn't the one that was making her legs all jittery. Okay? I don't think any of this shit was happening. I think it's an excuse, and that's it. And even if that is the truth, that she had issues with leg seizures, we still have 2 babies that lost their lives. Let's get to the full arraignment. Anything you want to say, Retro Girl?
No, let's go ahead. There's somebody who makes reference during the arraignment about her husband perhaps being at the club, at the bar particularly. Somebody makes reference to that at the arraignment, but it's just something that was said, and there's just all these pieces that just I look at them and think, you know, the dots might be a little bit far apart with no braking, no swerving away from hitting the building. But then there's somebody at the arraignment making mention of the possibility of Marcella's husband being at the bar at the time that this happened. And then there's somebody else at the arraignment, another member of the club, who makes reference to her hitting a vehicle somewhere in the other direction and then fleeing from the scene of that accident to the boat club. So those are all those pieces. There's just stuff here that just, to me, just doesn't add up as far as someone having a seizure and plowing inside of the building.
Exactly. And again, supposedly she grazed, well, I'd say hit the neighbor's son's truck. She missed the telephone pole. She missed another utility pole that's right in front of the building. She's at accelerated speed. So why on earth did she turn into that parking lot? And if her husband was already there and she was told, hey, listen, we're having a birthday party, I almost wonder if her husband didn't tell her and not someone at the boat club. If her husband didn't say, look, I'll come back and get you later, but they're having a birthday party. And we all know how you act when you're all rude or tutor. That's what pissed her off. Because we can take no. We're not the people that say, I need to talk to the manager. We can take a no from most people. But from our spouse, hell no. I'm coming down there with you.
That makes the greatest amount of sense to me.
Yeah, if my husband
does,
hey, I'm out here having a good time, but nobody wants you around, I'd be like, really?
Well, the Monroe County Sheriff in his press conference, he said that there were, as far as he knew, there were other boat club activities going on along, and then this children's birthday party being held in one of the sections of the boat club.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just the children's birthday party. There were lots of people there, and leading to a lot of chaotic scene at the crash. And the sheriff didn't even know how many people were there. Wasn't able to tell how many people were there at that time because there was so much overlap between other boat club activities and this birthday party. He wasn't able to answer that question, but for some reason, she ended up in the parking lot of that club and missed many other obstacles.
She missed all
to follow the road with the steering
just
wheel.
hits the broad side of a barn, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, those were my thoughts. There's about 2 minutes, I think, at the beginning of this, which is just people getting settled in, and then it really starts.
Well, you can clearly see that he's trying to explain something to her. And like right there, her attorney is leaned in, telling her it's going to be okay, all that stuff. So here we go. Prison crocs always crack me up, not going to lie. Look at those shoes. Or I guess she's in county jail.
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, she appears to be quite brittle as far as her health, but I would expect that with what we're hearing about her drinking patterns from people who knew her.
Mm-hmm. I think she's pissed. I think she is one of those people that says, oh my gosh, look what all I have done for this community, and you really want to bother me with this? It's extremely hard. I would be bawling my face off. If, let's say, I had a seizure and I couldn't control my car and did any damage, I don't care if I hit a damn mailbox, I'd be in shambles. I would feel so bad. But here she is. She's like bitter. She's hardened. And this isn't from her few days in jail, because she normally doesn't look like that. There she is. She obviously hasn't taken very good care of her skin, but there she is.
It's her public face.
Yeah, and there she is right there when she became the Commodore of the club with Ned Flanders.
Yeah, Ned Flanders, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All rise, please. First, Judge. You can see it. Thank you.
People of the state of Michigan versus Marcella.
Why did she lay on the table? Hang on, what the hell is she doing?
I don't know. I have to see that again.
I'm looking.
You can see it. Thank you.
Oh, she had, it looks like some.
Oh, she had to stand for the judge, and he's helping her get back down. Okay.
People of the state of Michigan versus Marcella Chidester. Case number 241971FY. Names for the record.
Your Honor, Jeff Yorkie on behalf of the people. Your Honor, Bill Kolovis, P38434 on Ms. Chidester. Thank you.
Ms. Chidester, seated next to you. Today is the time and date set for arraignment pretrial, arraignment in this matter. The defendant is charged with count 1, homicide, 2nd degree, maximum penalty, life or any term of years. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under MCL 769.36 for each death that resulted from the operating a motor vehicle.
Oh, I bet you're sorry.
Resulted operation of the vehicle, DNA upon arrest. Count 2, homicide, 2nd degree, same maximum penalty. Count 3, operating while intoxicated causing death, maximum penalty 15 years, and or
$2,500 to $10,000 monetary sanction. Defendant may be convicted for each death arising out of the same transaction. The court may order consecutive sentencing under MCL 269.36. Count 4, operating while intoxicated causing death, same penalty as count 3. Count 5, operating while intoxicated causing serious injury, maximum penalty up to 5 years and or $1,000 to $5,000 monetary sanction. Vehicle immobilization. How does the defendant plead?
We stay in mute, Your Honor.
Case has been assigned to Judge Brown. Probable cause conference there, April 30th at 9 a.m. Via Zoom with an exam date of May 6th at 1:30. That will be in person. And I'll hear bond. Mr. Yorkie.
Your Honor, the people are requesting a $1.5 million bond at this point, along with conditions. It is based, at least in part, on the fact that, as the court has already indicated, the defendant is facing 2 life sentences that could run consecutive to other offenses that are involved in this matter. In addition to that, we believe that the likelihood of conviction is extremely high here. We have ample video evidence showing exactly what happened during this incident. And finally, Judge, the defendant suffers from a very severe substance abuse issue.
I am so glad that the prosecutor said this. The rate of conviction is extremely high, meaning unless she just wants to plead guilty right now, we can go ahead and lump the 2 life sentences together. I don't know what life in Michigan is. It could be 20 years, 25. She's 66. The defense attorney is not liking this, but he's saying we all know what she did, and she has a substance abuse issue. The rate of conviction is very high. I don't care if she's got the common cold or she's got an ear infection. Either way, she crashed into this building with a BAC twice the legal limit and then some.
She's facing 8 counts, 8 counts altogether. 2 of them are for second-degree murder, and that's a subject on its own. Being that typically, from what I've read, that the OWI resulting in death is usually charged as an involuntary manslaughter, but she's got 2 of those, OWI resulting in death, and then in addition to that, 2 second-degree murder charges, talking about having her serve those things consecutively. Yeah, she's going to be, she's not going to get out after a trial if she gets convicted on half of those things.
Go to trial, she'd be crazy to go to trial. We have the video. They have the BAC. You can't defend that. You really think they're going to spend millions of dollars on a trial? No, they're going to have to plea down with her, or they're going to have to make some kind of arrangement. Say, okay, vehicular homicide. You're still getting life. It doesn't carry the same tinge as murder, but this is not just going to go away. 2 children are dead. Why would you even want to go to trial? How are you going to defend this? What doctor is going to get on the stand and discount the lives that have been lost and affected to give some sort of bullshit expert opinion about these leg seizures? Unless it's Dr. Dorothy Lewis in Gannon's trial. That's the only one I can think of. He can come up with the split personality thing.
Yeah, that is a long shot to get people to look at that as her having a seizure, and that's why she had decided that building. That's just it's a long shot. I can't even. It's hard for me to even believe that the defense is even trying that. But it might be the only shot that they have.
It's called clutching for straws. Anything. All you have to do is convince one. You get one person on that jury that says, "Oh, I've had seizures," or "My grandma used to have seizures. I could see how this would happen." It just takes one. They would be total fools to even do that.
Corroborated by friends and family members, and she creates a very high risk to the public. For all those reasons, we believe that a $1.5 million bond is in order in this particular case.
Your Honor, again, Bill Clovis on behalf of my client. Your Honor, I think the court has served in the judiciary for many years and understands and appreciates that at an arraignment, the client has not been found guilty. We don't have prejudgment penalties. What we do have here is somebody, when looking at bond, any favorable and unfavorable facts. The favorable facts are my client is 66 years of age. My client has no record whatsoever. In fact, she has never even received a traffic ticket of the 50 years of driving.
I love when they bring up they've never even had a traffic ticket. She killed 2 babies. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Well, just wait.
They've never been in trouble before. And I've been through this many, many times. Anytime they say, well, they've never been in trouble before, they were never caught. When somebody gets caught for, let's say, shoplifting, it's not the first time they did it. It's the first time they got caught.
Well, you got to wait for it. Oh, go ahead. Wait for it. He's going to say she's better than I am.
She's never had any traffic involvement. She's never had any law enforcement involvement. I think that adds a little credibility to her side of the table. In addition, she's owned her residence, which is about 400 feet from where this took place, for
400 feet from where this took place. That's a boom moment right there. How stupid do you have to be to even admit that to the judge? He's not an investigator. The prosecutor didn't even bring it up. If this woman is stupid enough to go to trial, they're going to bring that up. Hey, it was a balmy, sunny day. Might have been a little crisp in the air. Who knows? She's been driving for 50 years. She's never even had a traffic ticket. So, I mean, who the hell gets okay, so she got a driver's license when she was 16. She could have walked. That makes it 10 times worse. Either way, she didn't have a wreck going to the hospital. She had a horrific wreck that killed babies.
40 years. She's retired. States that at an arraignment, the client has not been found guilty. We don't have prejudgment penalties. What we do have here is somebody, when looking at bond, any favorable and unfavorable facts. The favorable facts are my client is 66 years of age. My client has no record whatsoever. In fact, she has never even received a traffic ticket of the 50 years of driving. She's better than I am. In 60 years on this earth, she's never had any traffic involvement. She's never had any law enforcement involvement. I think that adds a little credibility to her side of the table. In addition, she's owned her residence, which is about 400 feet from where this took place, for 40 years. She's retired from a position. and was living a peaceful life with her husband in retirement. What the prosecutor.
And now she can live a peaceful life in retirement in jail.
Fails to mention to the court is that she has a history, and even the neighbors in the news media has said that she drives like a little old lady when she drives. You got to drive around her. That in addition, that my client has a history of having seizures. And this history has lasted since last November. It started of an epileptic type seizure in her legs. In fact, that's that day she was treated for it. It's not like her to drive.
Drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
She was drinking.
If I may continue with all due respect from everyone, a search warrant was executed at the bar that was allegedly where she was at. The bar showed that she had one glass of wine 4 hours prior to 3 o'clock, between 11 and 12, and a bowl of chili. That was confirmed with a search warrant of what the receipt was.
I think Shiny Head is missing the point. So what? She had a glass of wine and a bowl of chili. That was 4 hours before. What did she do in the next 4 hours? Did she stop at the convenience store and get her a 6-pack? Did she have something back at the house and she got liquored up and then decided to go over there? It goes without saying. If you're diagnosed with seizures, you shouldn't be drinking at all. But you know what? Patients, criminals, humans in general don't always follow the rules. This is such a weak attempt to defend her. And I will bet you $1 to a donut, my friend Retro, that bitch hasn't had one seizure when she was in the jail. And I bet when she goes to prison, she won't have a damn problem with seizures.
I don't know about that. I can't even imagine with the type of alcoholic it sounds like she is. She could be in a very dangerous situation in a jail setting where she doesn't have access to alcohol suddenly. So that must be something that they're having to deal with. They were having to deal with before she bonded out. I would be curious to know what they did as far as medical supervision of her detoxing in the jail.
Oh, probably the same thing they do for all the people that come in. I mean, they just give them, some medication and do what they can. But I mean, as far as these mystery seizures he's talking about, I don't think she's having any. Because if you're talking about DT tremors, that's not just in the legs.
Oh, heavy alcoholics get tremors.
Oh, sure. If they haven't had a drink. Yeah.
The shakes and progressed alcoholism really go together. I mean, they go hand in hand. I've seen enough to know that tremors and progressed alcoholism tend to they're together all the time.
Well, her husband's going to have to take her to the doctor because she has a monitor on her that will know if she's drinking. So he's going to have to get something for her or put her in a rehab. We're probably going to hear she's in rehab. And, we're going to have a lot of crying babies out there going, look, she's trying to get better. Well, guess what? It doesn't bring back the babies who have lost their lives from her irresponsibility and selfishness. Emma Nielsen, she said Librium is a notorious benzo for alcohol withdrawal, and she was on it. She was on that. She was on gabapentin, probably for just restless leg syndrome, some sort of neuropathy, and valproate. And that's a very weak seizure medicine. Seems to me that she's been trying to
I don't know how valproate interacts with alcohol. I don't know about that one.
I don't either. If Angel P was in here, I'd bring her up. Can someone page Angel P?
In addition, that no doctor told her not to drive. The doctor told her not to drive for a number of months, very few months, and then she could operate a vehicle. About a month prior to this accident, Your Honor, because I want the court, I'm not doing a trial today, but I want the court to know everything in setting the bond, that this is not a monster. It's horrible what happened. Absolutely horrible. I have 2 children. It's absolutely horrible. But some things we don't have control over. If I have a heart attack at my age, I don't have control over it if I'm operating a vehicle and hit somebody. So, Your Honor, the $1.5 million in the murder charge, I don't know where that's coming from, but they have to prove it. And respectfully, Your Honor, we would ask for $100,000 cash or surety, 10%. She can have, the court can order home confinement. Police have never been called to her home. She doesn't even have a speeding ticket if there's such a substance abuse at 66 years of age. So we're asking for home confinement along with $100,000, 10% cash or surety. In addition, she can have an alcohol monitor. Any violation whatsoever, bond revoked. But she gets medical treatment. Absolutely gets medical treatment. In fact, they have all the prescriptions she's on at the jail, which are numerous because of the paralysis she gets once in a while in her legs. And it's all documented. Now I'll bring forward the medical records. So we're...
Hang on. Paralysis in her legs. It's no longer seizures in the legs. It's paralysis. Okay. Then how did she walk to the effing car? So she supposedly gets in the car 400 feet away and goes into leg paralysis?
Yeah, apparently it only affected her between on the 400 feet between the her house and the side of that building. It just coincidentally affected her there.
Isn't that a bitch?
Well, okay, say that it did, but according to what he's saying, I would say she had control of the upper part of her body. Why isn't she steering violently away from the side of that building, locking up the wheels?
Mm-hmm. And we go back to the $1 million question. If she has these leg problems, throw the alcohol out the window. We already know she was 3 sheets to the wind. Why was she driving in the first place? What was she doing? What was so important at the boat club that she had with her leg paralysis and her seizures that she had to get in the car and drive over there 400 feet away at full speed? I'm a lazy bitch and I can still walk 400 feet. And I'm one of the laziest people you'll ever meet. I'm telling you. If I can have, I'm telling you, I'm not walking nowhere. If I had a golf cart to go to my mailbox, I would have one.
Well, 400 feet in my thinking, I see that as a walk to the mailbox, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're burning somebody at the stake by just craziness, just crazy words being that because there's been deaths, which is horrible, absolutely horrible. But we have to go back and say, how did it happen? If me, Bill Clovis, has a heart attack on the freeway and I hit somebody changing a tire, I can't be liable in today's society.
Yeah, but your ass wasn't drunk and you did pregnancy burns and shit. So they're two different things.
Again, let me repeat. They did a search warrant and it showed.
Shut up about your search warrant and the wine and the chili. What I want to know, how did her legs become unseized and unparalyzed when she tried to leave the scene? And look, the attorney has his O face on. I always know where to pause. I don't know how it happens. It's a God-given gift. So she basically, the legs were working because she tried to leave the scene.
Yeah, it's a pretty convenient. The leg paralysis happened at a extremely convenient time, I would say.
Leg paralysis, and then suddenly it's cured because she tried to back up and get out. She tried to leave the scene. Cherise said, how big is your property? My mailbox is 20 feet from my front door. 400 is more like my mailbox is about 20 feet from my door.
Okay, I was off on that. I was off on that. I was having second thoughts about saying that's a walk to the mailbox, but it's a she come from town where that Verna's was, where she had the wine and the one glass of wine and one bowl of chili, and then just from the downtown area to her to the boat club, she would have gone by her house on the way home. It's
400 feet is like basically going around the block if you live in a neighborhood. It's not. What I want to know is how was this leg paralysis instantly cured once she knew she had mowed through the building, and suddenly she's cured because she has the car in reverse and she's trying to back out.
Okay, here's another metric for you. 25 feet into the building. 25 feet.
25.
It's in the sheriff's press conference.
25 feet into the building. And then she tried to back out. Nice.
One glass of wine 4 hours prior. Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, I respond, Judge. Your Honor.
Why do you keep going? Not hit no break or turn.
Because sometimes you have a seizure and your legs freezes up.
Your Honor, there is no indication whatsoever in any of the evidence that we have uncovered in this case that the defendant suffered from a seizure at the time of this incident. In fact, quite the opposite. A very long investigation has occurred. There was a preliminary breath test done, which indicated that her blood alcohol level was significantly over the legal limit. What's more is based on, she indicated herself that she had some seizure issues and she was on some medication and that she wasn't supposed to be drinking, but admitted that she had been drinking that day. So she is a danger to this community. And that is illustrated no clearer than the 2 dead children that she is directly responsible for. A $1.5 million bond in this case is a gift, and that's what I'm asking the court to consider.
How do you save the community from
The rumors are that she drinks in her car in parking lot.
Excuse me, rumors. Hopefully they don't have rumors on any of the people here today.
In the state of Michigan, if you have a seizure,
Your Honor, may I continue?
I believe that. I believe that 100%. I believe she just did whatever she wanted to do, whenever she wanted to do it. And I believe that she always had a sippy cup with her with some sort of, special juice, like the school teacher in Oklahoma.
Yes. Thank you.
she took my 2 grandbabies.
Let's start removing people from the Zoom if we keep getting this interruption.
I don't know if you can mute for right now. Your Honor, again, if it's the safety of the public, there's no history whatsoever. Number 2 is she can be put on an alcohol tether. Number 3 is she can be put in her home. If she violates her home to go get her mail, she can be picked up and put in without bond. We'll stipulate to that. So, The court's seen many, many people, thousands of people before the court, and it's seen criminal history. We don't even have traffic ticket. It's absolutely horrible, but we're not punishing somebody before they're convicted. Thank you.
Any victims wish to address the court?
Yes, she chose to drink, and those were my grandbabies.
She has zero reaction to what the grandmother is saying. She chose to drink. Dante said, I would have a bit of sympathy for the seizure defense if her BAC wasn't 2.4 or whatever. No one, I don't care if you've been on a 4-day effing bender and you wake up and you have a glass of wine and a bowl of chili. Gross, but whatever. You're not going to have that BAC. She went to Vern's. She had her chili and her wine. I don't know why she just keep her crusty ass at home. Why does she think she's so damn popular that she's got to go everywhere? You want to drink? Stay at home or get an Uber. I don't care who drinks and who doesn't.
It's tone deaf. It's just tone deaf. I think I've got to think about how there have got to be people in that courtroom who are listening to this, who are recovering alcoholics themselves. And then among the rest, people who've had the alcoholism in their family, they've had a coworker. Everybody knows better than this. She had a glass of wine 4 hours ago, except for her defense attorney. Tone deaf, just completely.
Her blood didn't lie. They took DNA. Of course they did. They swabbed her cheeks when she got there. Her blood didn't lie. They know her blood alcohol content. They know it.
Thank you. Your name,
She
please?
made that choice to go to that bar. She chose to drink and drive. And she took my grandbaby from us.
Understood. Your name for the record, ma'am?
My name is Kathy Phillips, and I'm the grandmother of the 2 babies that were killed.
Thank you. Factors I've considered in setting bond. She has no criminal history, identified criminal history, no incidents of non-appearance.
Your Honor, one of the victims does want to speak, address the court. She may.
She can try to counsel table.
Trigger warning. This is tough.
Your name, ma'am?
My name is Raquel Smothers. I am Mariah's sister. What he had said about getting injections in her legs for something, knowing that with or without drinking, you're still putting people in harm's way, because with muscles and everything, you can't control something. Why operate a vehicle knowing you're taking medicine that drinking will affect it? I was there. I seen where my daughter, my mom, my sister, my nephew from the opposite side of the family, my sister's 3 children. We were supposed to be planning a birthday party for Zane, not a funeral. Knowing you have medical conditions, you should never get behind a wheel whether you are drinking or not. Taking medications, they tell you not to drink, but she still chose to drink. She still chose to get into that vehicle. I will never look at the month of April the same ever again. My birthday was a few days prior. The babies were just at my house. My niece with her flawless curly hair loved to dance. My nephew, he always hated my truck was dirty. Like, I cleaned my truck out just for him. He loved jujitsus. He loved cracking jokes. Eminem was his idol. They walked into that birthday party having a fun time. They were sitting at that table eating. And this woman crashed her car through this building, destroying all of our lives. Not just my family, everyone else that was in that building. My nephew and my sister are still fighting for their lives today. I had to be the one to tell my sister her babies were gone when they removed her ventilator yesterday. She said, "How am I supposed to live without my babies?" Nobody should ever have to go to a birthday party thinking that they're going to die. Medical history or not, every medication tells you not to drink. She knew it. She shouldn't have done it. I had to see my deceased niece and nephew. I had to see their very last moment before their car was removed. I seen it. And my sister can't decide what she wants. And then babies, I can tell you right now, cannot have an open casket. It's a horrible, dramatic thing. I cannot close my eyes at night without seeing the babies and what they look like. No, I'm done.
And no reaction from Marcella.
Yeah, that seems to be something a lot of people are bothered by. And that just looking at the comments and social media is that just the lack of emotion in this arraignment that you see.
My friend Mary Lopez says, and I agree with this 100%. She said, for some reason, I feel like she was in a drunken rage or a blackout. I totally think she was blacking out. I think she, considering her blood alcohol level, you ever been around someone who drinks so much they don't remember? I don't remember. I don't remember. They don't remember what they do. I totally believe that she does not remember. I think it woke her up when she crashed in, if she didn't do it deliberately. But I can't say that because she wasn't charged with first-degree murder. There's no shade of of intent with her charge. I do think that she was probably blacked out. Does it give her an excuse? Nope. Does epilepsy give her an excuse? Nope. Does restless leg syndrome give her an excuse? Nope. Does her medication give her an excuse? Nope. If it was actually just an accident, saying she was pulling in, trying to find a parking spot, and somehow her transmission went out and she couldn't stop. even then, she would be somehow held accountable. None of her actions give her an excuse. None. Does anyone in here, and please be honest, we're friends, we can talk. Does anyone have any remorse for this woman? And I know there's going to be a few people saying, I'm in recovery. I know what this is like. I respect that. And her charges are going to go up as this investigation goes on. Does anyone have any? Oh, no, zero. Nope, nope, nope.
Well, I have empathy for her as far as that I can look at her and tell that her health is gone. She's a miserable person. But yeah, I see these two beautiful children, and I bet she was just, I just have to think that she was furious when she headed out for that club.
There's many people that enjoy the spirits, and they're like, I stay home or I get an Uber.
That video of just the car just making a beeline for the side of that building, that and then the awful sound of that crash. And I look at that and I think about those kids.
Miss Kay said, I don't have empathy based on her defense and evidence. And the evidence is what doesn't lie. The evidence is what came out of her seeping veins. They did not just a breathalyzer, they took blood. It's a wonder they didn't have to send it to Golden, Colorado to get it analyzed, because I have a feeling she had so much in her system, it probably didn't even register correctly because she was that drunk. That's the highest that equipment will register.
Well, the evidence is also in that measuring tape, 25 feet into a building, 25 feet in. That's, and just there's no braking, no swerving to avoid the building, none of that stuff. It's just, there's some, I believe, second-degree murder charge criteria in Michigan, from what I read, is reckless, wanton disregard for human life. It's a mindset where you know what you're doing has a high likelihood of killing somebody, but you do it anyway. I think it's based on mindset, from what I read, but that about seems likely here.
Disregard for life. It doesn't mean she planned to kill anyone. The minute she was tanked and grabbed those keys and decided to go over and have herself a good time, she had disregard for human life, including her own. Think about that, including her own. I don't believe she had paralysis of the legs that suddenly was cured when she hit the building. I don't think she had any sort of epileptic seizure 400 feet away that was suddenly cured when she drove 25 feet into the building, because she tried to reverse and get out. Think about the damage she did when she didn't just stop. Think about the people that when she was trying to get out, she was still rolling over.
And she's encapsulated inside of that vehicle, so she's got an air bubble, safety bubble around her. The people inside the building, they don't. No. They got no safety bubble. She's the one.
No, they're in there drinking Kool-Aid and eating cake and opening birthday presents. They don't see it coming. But
they don't have steel armor around them. She does.
She goes into the building. Obviously, she can move her legs, or she wouldn't have walked out of her front door, got in the car, and drove 400 feet. It's basically a football field, okay? We've all been to football games. We've seen football on TV. We can tell how far that is. So she's hit all these people, 15 of them, and then she tries to back up over them. Just close your eyes and think about that for a second. Instantly, her legs are working. And she's backing up over the people. When she complained about the speed bump, I hate to tell her, it's not a speed bump. Those are human bodies.
And she's a known drunk.
To her credit, she does have ties to the community. However,
Can I say something, Your Honor? I'm the brother of the father.
your name, please.
Nicholas Phillips.
All right. Go ahead.
This woman deliberately, without even hitting a break, destroyed my brother's life. Those was his baby. His little girl used to go to his basketball games. And now that little girl is not going to be able to go see her. Their father, because a woman claims to have high community ties to her community, want to drive and hit the gas even further when she got to that parking lot and destroyed multiple lives. My brother is in the hospital right now, praying that his little boy comes through, and he still got to tell his son that he lost his sister and brother. How is that right, or how is that even fair? How is it even justified? Because the woman saying that she got some type of medical issue. As my sister said, you take medicine for years. You're an adult. You could read the label. It says do not drink. And you can't sit here and tell me one drink that would do that. You can't. I'm a high educated man. You can't tell me that. And there's no justifying what she did to my family. There's none. This will never, ever be right. There's nothing in this world that anybody can sit here and say, well, she could say it was an accident. That was not an accident. I know what accidents look like. That happened all the time on the freeway. If she was not drunk as people claiming, her house is 3 houses away from what she did. Why didn't she just go home? Why did she? It's right there. 3 houses away from where she did that stuff that she did to my brother's family. 3 houses. Why didn't she go home?
Thank you.
So you as a defender, you should feel ashamed for even trying to stick up for only one drink. One drink don't do that, sir. And never will. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I say something?
Your name, please.
Rosalind Stead.
Go ahead.
I drove there. My 3 children were there. And whether you're having a seizure or not, that was intentional. You couldn't drive the way that those roads bend and the way that you drive in there. There is no way that that woman was not conscious in turning that vehicle. She aimed it right there, right at the bar, where probably her husband should have been sitting. I don't know what her intentions were, but I can tell you it was in purpose and it was intentional. You can tell. We all know it.
Thank you.
May I speak, Your Honor?
Your name, please.
My name's Joshua Stitt. So I'm a member of the boat club, and I've been a member for many years. And I'm familiar with Marcella. And during my 10 years of being a member of the boat club, well, most of the time I've seen her, she's been highly intoxicated. And I've watched people will try to walk her out the door dozens and dozens of times. One of the things that aren't brought up here is the fact that she hit a vehicle down the road and a tree down the road. I believe that it wasn't intentional, but I do believe that it was a situation where she was trying to flee and run from what she'd just done down the road. She shouldn't have been driving. And everybody knew that, right? Everybody, you're a member of the boat club, you know this lady shouldn't be driving. And I believe she was fleeing that scene. And there's a speed bump before you enter the parking lot of the boat club, as well as like a runoff ditch that you got to pass over with your vehicle. We all drive 10 miles an hour through that area because of these, and it's a narrow road. But I believe that she was fleeing from hitting the truck so that she wouldn't get caught drunk driving. And in doing so, hit the speed bump as well as the little ditch that's 30 feet past that and lost control of her vehicle. So I don't believe it's intentional, but I do believe that, and I know that she drinks a lot and she, should never get behind the wheel. And if you're under that much medicine as her attorney states, then even one glass of wine potentially, do you like this? And not only that, it's a lot of medications, you're not supposed to drive on, right? So, whether it's the alcohol or medication, or it's neither, this lady should never be behind the wheel. We've watched her, take baby steps to get out of the place because she can barely walk, right? Let alone get behind the wheel. And for such a frail lady to cause such devastation in her car, I think that I think that she shouldn't be freed on bond because of this. I believe that decades of her drunk driving that just caught up to her is what I believe. Yeah.
And there it is. I agree with him 100%. And those little baby steps and hunched over, which she would do when she was leaving, is not because she's frail. She's 66. Okay? She's not 106. Those little baby steps she was taking, the member of the boat club was talking about it. We've seen her do this several times. Those baby steps that she would take when she would leave is because she was counting her steps because she's drunk. She's trying to appear that she's okay. That's why she's hunched over, grabbing onto things. It's not because she's frail. It's because she's tutored.
Well, she to me, she does look frail, but she looks like that's a function of her years and years and years of this behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And underneath that, there's a certain, I just feel a certain destructiveness behind what she did. For alcoholic or not, there's a destructive intent behind that, and these poor victims, the children who lost their lives, and then there are 4 other kids who are cousins of the little boy who's got killed at his own birthday party. I think there are 3 or 4 other children, 14 to 17. I think, you had the ages there, but there are several other kids, including the older brother of the 2 deceased children, whose life is messed up from their injuries, not to mention the PTSD from what they've seen and experienced. And there was an article in the Detroit Free Press about $200,000 has been raised so far for these victims, which is great, but $200,000 for that's a drop in the bucket compared to next to what the total of these victims are going to need to go on with life.
And I hope people understand that the medical is going to be taken care of, because that's going to be an insurance situation between the bar and the auto insurance, because they will have to do what's called excess limits, because she is the person that they insured is the one that's responsible. Health insurance won't touch it. I don't care what policy you have. They will do what's called subrogation. I used to do this for a living. So people that think that they're helping with medical bills, it's not going to work that way. Funerals, my God, I hate to even say this, but there is a victims compensation fund in every state. Some will reimburse you, some will do the whole 9 yards. I do not believe in this community, and as deeply affected as they are, that some funeral director is not going to say, absolutely, we will do it.
I believe that has been done already from what from just looking at the some Facebook posts for the boat club. There's been at least one funeral director who's done that already.
Mm-hmm.
But the cost.
Will say that because she was drinking and taking medication, her insurance will deny all the claims. No, because she's still there insured. That's all.
Well, but having injuries seems to, and having chronic health problems and chronic injuries seems to go along with being broke. It's hard. It's easier for injured people to just get broke. There are so many hidden costs in addition to the medical costs.
When I worked for the MRI clinic, I can't tell you how many people we came in to get MRIs, and we would look for the uninsured motorist, the med pay, or just wait for the liability to pay. And the insurance would try to fight it because their insured was drunk. But still, at the end of the day, they had to pay it. And I know they will deny and deny and deny, but that's when an attorney gets involved and they say, hey, too bad. You insured this person. You insured them. You insured their vehicle. Nothing you can do.
At some point, though.
It took me 5 years one time to get a medical claim solved. And at the end of the day, they had to. This chick, look, I mean, they're going to sue her insurance company. They've already started that. That's the reason they start with a lawsuit.
At what point, though, does that get into her personal assets? Because just the injustice of her getting to have an estate after she's gone from this life, and getting to have an estate and getting to have assets after all of the hurdles that she's caused for these other people that are not going to 100% be covered by health insurance. It just to me that's an injustice. I'm thinking of the long-term needs of this mother who lost 2 of her children. The third child you said he had a punctured lung. He was seriously injured. I didn't know it was a punctured lung, but she has to be a mother to him and then deal with her own injuries and deal with her own financial setbacks from this accident. And I can't believe that health insurance is going to cover all of that.
Now, what they do is all the doctors, there's a lot of stuff that medical providers have to write off. They just have to. I mean, that's it. The club has their own insurance. There's a ton of insurance out there. And then from there, and also they also have to look at this, at the end of the day, you have to come out whole. Okay. From a tragedy, you can't come out better unless it's from private donations, but you have to come out whole. And that's what insurance looks at. Meaning if I rear end you, Retro Girl, and they say your car is totaled, then my insurance has to replace your car. There's no replacing a life.
Well, the next thing is justice for these 2 kids, these 2 babies who lost their lives to this accident.
And that's going to be solved by the criminal courts. because
Yeah.
no amount of money is going to bring them back, and no amount of money is going to help with grief. So that's going to be looked at too. I mean, I'm not trying to be grim or gross or anything. That's just how it works. You know, so as long as people are supporting this family and all the other families, then that's the most important thing. And I just don't have any remorse for Marcella. I just don't. I have none.
Well, I don't either. I'm just hoping that the families of these victims will get financial support for all the hidden costs that come along with what happened to them.
Well, they're going to have that's going to be settled in a different way, because when it comes right down to it, she's going to get civilly sued, and her husband too, because they're married.
As they should.
As they should. I mean, if I decided to get plowed and go down the street and kill 2 kids, guess what? They're not going to say, oh, well, you know, DT driver wasn't home. He's on the hook too, because we're married. It doesn't work that way. There are so many loopholes in the law, especially when it's insurance and someone needs to get paid. They will drain all the insurance policies, and then they will sue for excess limits.
Yeah, that's it's the hidden costs of these of all these injuries and losses and grief for lifetime, and which affects a person's ability to survive.
Allstate's going to deny these claims over and over and over, and then they're going to get sued, and then they're going to go to court, and then they're going to have to pay out. So how about some positivity? Because I know this has been a very daunting show. Anybody want to see something positive?
Absolutely.
Anybody? Anybody?
This has been a heart-wrenching show. Really dark one.
Snow said, "Is it a dog?" Well, I mean, every show we do is dark.
Well, this case. Well, they're all tough. I mean, all of these cases are tough. This one is really harrowing for some reason to me.
And I really don't give a rat's ass about the insurance companies or the victims' all the lawyers can fight about that, and that's what they're going to have to do. And insurance companies, I mean, they'll take no hostages when it comes to recouping their money. The sad fact of the matter is, for those of us that don't have recs and don't file claims, we pay for the assholes. All right, this is hilarious. Okay, so this couple sat down, parents, in-laws, brother and sister, and a lot of times these gender reveals, I just kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, oh, really? Pink balloons coming out of an Amazon box? How cool for you. This one really cracked me up. Look at this.
There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you sponsor.
So they gave them each a cocktail, since we're talking about alcohol. And of course, they're shaking it up. And what they open, the color of the drink, is what the couple is having. Just watch this.
My Gregos. Thank you, guys. We're going to have you shake up these little shakers real quick. And just like the bartenders do, you're going to take that little, not yet, you're going to take that little cap off. You're going to shake it, take that little cap off and pour it into your glass.
But can we do this? You have to just all at the same time.
Yeah, all
you
the
have
same
to
time.
pour it at the same time.
You're not in the pride. Hey. No, this is for y'all.
That they're having a boy and a girl. So I just thought that was such a cute way to do it. And they bring, you know, the parents, you know, brother and sister over, and they shake up the cocktail. And so dad has pink, mom has pink, brother and sister have blue. And the dad goes, What, twins? I just thought it was so adorable because I hate those gender reveals when they go out there and they have like freaking sparklers and shit, or you cut into some Walmart cake that's got like a baby Jesus dressed in a pink shirt. You know, I can't stand that stuff. Or a bunch of pink balloons that come out of an Amazon box. But I got to watch this again. This was too cute. Is that not the cutest thing? Yeah. And then,
that is absolutely cute.
and there's Pawpaw sitting there going, shit, I just paid for a wedding and I got twins coming. Damn. He goes,
Yeah, he's having everybody else is catching on a bit faster than he did, I think.
oh, he knows because men know what the bill's going to be. So when he looked up at his daughter who's taking the video, he goes, twins? He's like, damn, your mom's going to bankrupt me every Christmas.
Yeah, that's why he's having to take more time to process than everybody else. He's the one who's got to pay for everything.
Exactly. Well, you guys are the absolute best. It is TGIF. So glad you guys were here. I know this was not a feel-good show. I mean, or any of them. But we do the best we can as friends to get through things, you know, as friends and get through it the best we can. I mean, do we have any happy cases? We might have some where it's like, whoa, thank goodness. But even the thank goodness is bittersweet. I want to say so much to Retro Girl for coming up because her insight on this case is amazing. Now, let's take a vote. Do you want to continue covering this case? Let's see. Pat doesn't care. She said it's time for gardening. Baby Kisses says yes. Okay. Okay. So we're going to keep following this case.
That's I appreciate that. It's not getting what it's not getting much on YouTube for, you know, I hope there's more advocacy for these two kids. And then for the rest of the kids who got hurt too, they need more advocacy on YouTube than what I'm seeing already.
Absolutely. But we're going to keep on. Mod Squad, love you girls. Love you. Snow said, I want to see her in jail. Miss K said, when does she go back to court? I saw June 7th. But I might have read the wrong article, even though I believe everything I read on the internet.
I thought there was a probable cause hearing in May.
Okay. Again, I might have read the wrong article because I saw June 7th. So either way, unless she pleads or goes to trial, either way, she's going to jail. She's going to jail. You know, her husband he already put their house up for collateral, so she's out now. But I tell you something right now. That alcohol thing on her is going to light up like a Chinese tanning bed soon.
Yeah, she's not going to have fun. She's not going to have fun with the conditions of her not being locked up, I don't think.
Nope, not at all. Again, thank you, Retro Girl, and thank you to all my friends in here. You guys are the absolute best. Stay cool, stay calm, and continue, please, being just the best people on these nasty YouTube streets. I will see you guys back here probably Sunday morning. If I don't catch you Sunday morning, then we will be back at 9 a.m. Monday morning. We're out, Retro Girl.
Okay.